Hi everybody, welcome to my presentation on energy enhancing diet/nutrition. I'm Miranda, I'm a licensed nutritionist, and I help clients find an eating style that is nourishing and delicious as well as sustainable. So today we are going to cover tweaks that can be made to your eating style or your eating pattern to help promote more energy in your life. So my goal is to help you feel like this person on the slide here, just ready to take on the day with zest. And then as a reminder, the information in this presentation is for educational purposes only and is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. So, what we want to think about when we think about using food to increase our energy outside of like the popular well-known compound known as caffeine, we want to think about blood sugar stability. And so the opposite of that is blood sugar swings, or a roller coaster, right? That has lots of ups and downs. And these tend to be higher carbohydrate or higher sugar foods. So sometimes people even crave sugary foods because it can give them a quick hit of energy, but that is not long lasting. And then you can get other side effects like decreased blood sugar. So we want to be aware of that blood sugar roller coaster. And the reason for that is foods that spike your blood sugar out of normal blood sugar ranges, either high or low, negatively impact our energy levels. So we want to be below 140 if you're testing. Your number should be below 140 after eating, 2 hours after eating. And then also to add to that, we don't want to have extremely high blood sugar spikes either. So if you're seeing readings in the mid 200 plus ranges, that's a pretty big swing. So the more we can think about blood sugar stability, the better that will impact your blood sugar or your energy levels. So just to kind of recap what I already said, if our blood sugar levels are spiking or dropping out of normal ranges, your body is experiencing stress, right? Because it's like a lot of blood sugar is in your system, and that's not actually a great thing to have long term because it can caramelize essentially your blood itself. So you can start attaching to your blood cells, causing glycation. And your body then, if it is too high, your body is scrambling, or if it's too low, it scrambles to try to maintain normal blood sugar levels. And this is a really nice visual that I give out to my clients. So you can see here how you have the middle part here showing normal blood sugar levels. So ups and downs within this would be considered normal. So it's not a huge spike or drop. And if we go outside of those normal ranges, that's when we start experiencing those symptoms. So if we eat lots of carbohydrates, or rather too many carbohydrates for our body to metabolize or store efficiently, then we can get spikes, creating that high blood sugar. So you have the symptoms of increased insulin, or hormonally you have increased insulin to try to store that blood sugar in the form of fat. You have inflammation, you have blood sugar or blood caramelization from that blood sugar attaching to the blood cells, and then you get mood swings. Some people also experience extended fatigue. And if you have low blood sugar levels, you have increased cortisol, which is a stress hormone that is designed to try to bump your blood sugar levels back up. So you have increased cortisol. Anyone who's experiencing hangry feelings understands that unpleasant symptom of low blood sugar. You can have increased cravings. fatigue and brain fog. And so this is what people tend to reach for if they're having those low blood sugar symptoms. So we want to get off of the highs and lows of blood sugar spikes and drops, which, as an aside, on occasion is okay. So if you're going to an amusement park and you're on the roller coaster, it's pretty fun, right? So if you have a higher carbohydrate food, maybe it's some cake, on occasion, it's okay. It's a celebration, right? It can be fun. It can be an important part of people's lives. And so being on a roller coaster for the 3 minutes generally is great. And then I usually challenge my clients to think about if they were stuck on a roller coaster for all day, right? Or for weeks on end, which is what we can unknowingly do with a higher carbohydrate diet that's too many for our own bodies. You're not going to feel that great, right? So a roller coaster is fun in small, short periods of time. But if it was all day, every day, it would be extremely not fun and very stressful. And that's kind of how the body feels. If we are spiking our blood sugar levels consistently, it's a stressor. So cake on occasion is fine, but high carbohydrate intake, too much for our own bodies consistently, is a stressor. And so how you feel if you were on a roller coaster for all day, that's kind of how your body internally feels when it's trying to manage blood sugar levels that are going up and down. So what we want to do is get on that blood sugar train. And how we do that is paying attention to carbohydrates, because they have the largest impact on our blood sugar levels. So to encourage more stable blood sugar, we need to eat more protein and healthy fats and likely reduce carbohydrate intake. And the way that proteins work is they take longer to break down. So it slows down digestion. And then if you're eating carbs with it, it will slow down the absorption of carbohydrates. In addition, we don't want to have naked carbohydrates. So if you were to have like a piece of fruit for a snack, you'd always want to try to pair it with some protein or healthy fat. So cheese stick, hard-boiled egg, handful of nuts, something to slow down the absorption. And then fats with a lower intake of carbohydrates can help us get into ketosis, which contributes to stable energy. So it's adding in more protein and healthy fat, decreasing carbohydrate. And then I'm going to share with you too a little bit later about why ketosis is kind of special and kind of a cool thing to experience and how to get there from a dietary shift. This is a graphic that I think is really insightful. So if we are comparing the ketogenic diet to the standard American diet, like it's pretty opposite, right? So we have very high carbohydrate recommendation with some fat and a smaller amount of protein is what most people eat. And a therapeutic ketogenic diet would be used for maybe somebody who has seizures, not responding to medication, morbid obesity, neurological disorders, things like that. Then a therapeutic ketogenic diet would be warranted. However, there's flex there. So you could do a standard keto diet where you are eating a little bit less fat than the therapeutic, a little bit or more protein and about the same amount of carbohydrates. It's honestly kind of gray area. So I tend to recommend more of like a lower carb, maybe bordering keto diet. You can still make ketones that way. So for me and my clients, they find that the sweet spot is 60% of their calories coming from fat, 25 to 30 from protein, and 10 to 15 from carbohydrates. Because in all honesty, you can make ketones with this level of carbohydrates. You would make more at even lower, but people do feel different even with the 10 to 15% of your intake coming from carbohydrates. So the perks of ketosis, there's so many and it's really interesting. So ketosis occurs when carbohydrate intake is low enough to allow the body to switch from burning blood sugar, or primarily burning blood sugar, which is carbohydrates converted to glucose, to now burning body fat or dietary fat for energy. So in other words, when the fuel source of glucose is gone, the body prioritizes fat for energy, and then a byproduct of burning fat is ketones. And what they can do is so many cool positive things. I'll go through this list here. So most organs and tissues can use ketone bodies as an alternative fuel source for energy. So that's a way that we've been able to survive for thousands of years, is being able to use either fuel source, glucose or fat. And when you have ketones being produced, they will reduce cravings and feelings of hunger by lowering levels of the hunger hormone ghrelin and other hormones that increase appetite, such as insulin. So there's a favorable hormonal shift when you have ketone production. They help provide more consistent energy levels throughout the day. Ketones act as antioxidants by slowing down production of free radicals, activating the body's antioxidant pathways, and directly scavenging these harmful molecules. They are a more stable and efficient energy source than glucose, which can prevent energy spikes and dips that are associated with eating carbohydrates. Ketones or ketone bodies are also known as superfuel. They produce more energy than glucose. So, for example, 100 grams of ketone, this is a form of a ketone, produces 9,400 grams of energy of ATP, while 100 grams of glucose only produces 8,700 grams of ATP. And then a really cool thing is it increases the metabolic rate of fat tissue. So it kind of like increases your metabolism in your fat tissue. So how do you promote ketone production? Part of it is maintaining normal blood sugar levels by reducing your carbohydrate intake and increasing your healthy fat and protein. So if you were looking at a plate visually, you're going to see that higher protein, so a quarter of your plate coming from animal-based sources primarily. You're going to have a similar amount coming from healthy fat. Your carbohydrate sources is going to be minimally grains, probably more like berries or stone fruit or beans and legumes. And your vegetable sources too are going to be kind of on that lower carbohydrate spectrum. So a lot of cruciferous vegetables, green vegetables, leafy green vegetables, maybe some carrots, tomatoes, peppers, as long as, again, you're paying attention to your total carbohydrate intake. And when you are on the blood sugar train, you're going to have freedom from cravings, stable energy, fat burning, focus, and mental clarity. And your evenings, you're not going to have those late night cravings. You're not going to feel sleepy. You're not going to feel hangry. You're going to feel calm and satisfied. And this is an example of the breakfast switch. So having maybe some grain-free type paleo pancakes, some whole milk Greek yogurt. You're going to have half and half instead of skim milk. You're going to go with whole milk yogurt, chicken sausages, pork sausages, some berries, eggs, grain-free granola coming primarily from so Purely Elizabeth is a really good brand. They've got a few different flavors coming primarily from like coconut and almonds, and they're really good and they're really crunchy and they do taste just like granola. So we want to prioritize protein to 25 to 35% of our daily intake, which is usually about 0.8 grams per pound of ideal body weight. Usually it can be like around there, maybe a little bit more. And then in terms of how much carbohydrates to have, you want to lower the amount based off of your biometrics. So anybody who has these symptoms or these metrics should consider lowering to about 50 to 75 grams total per day. So if you have a large waist circumference, so that's over 35 inches for women or 40 inches for men. If you have high fasting blood sugar levels, or if you don't, but you have, if you take your triglycerides and HDL and divide them and your ratio is above 2, that's indicating insulin resistance, which is carbohydrate intolerance, essentially. And then if you experience symptoms of dysregulated blood sugar levels, if you get, extreme fatigue or hunger, those are signs that maybe you should help your body be more metabolically flexible by eating more protein and healthy fat and reducing those carbohydrates. If you are checking your blood sugar, you want to really avoid spikes out of normal ranges. But again, if you have body weight to lose and your blood sugar levels are normal, you may still want to consider working your way towards the 50 to 75 grams per day. You can also test blood ketones, and that will show you how many ketones your body is producing. So if you are producing ketones, that means that your body is using body fat for energy. And you can also go by feel. So if you're rarely getting hangry, you have a reduction in cravings, if you're full satisfied for 3 to 4 hours at a time, that's a pretty good sign that you're starting to tap into ketone productions as that alternative fuel. And I'm all about realistic goals, right? So if you're at 300 grams of carbs per day, I wouldn't recommend the next day going to 50. So if you're at 300 grams per day, you can track it on MyFitnessPal, Carb Manager, Chronometer. There's a lot of apps out there. So that can help you figure out your average carbohydrate intake. And then you want to reduce your intake of about 25 to 50 grams each week until you get to that total of 50 to 75. So if you're at 300 one week, then the following week, over the course of the week, you'd be at 250, and then you'd be at 200, and so on until you work your way there. So then you're not going to experience any dramatic symptoms, because what can happen if you just jump right in is your body's used to and built for burning blood sugar. So if you take that fuel source away immediately, then your body is going to again scramble to try to build the resources, the biomachinery needed to help burn body fat, and that can create kind of what's called the keto flu. So you feel more fatigued, sometimes headaches, sometimes you have that sugar detox feeling. So if you do it a little bit more slowly, then you can prevent those symptoms. So if you would like help navigating a keto diet or a low carb diet or a paleo diet or any type of eating plan, whether it's Whole30, or just you want to find what's realistic for you, or me to help educate you and advise you on what would be a good number to shoot for. I am virtual, I'm telephone or televideo, and I take insurance. So a lot of my clients using insurance will get weight loss consultations for free. And we are now newly in network with American Specialty Health and Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield, plus with Aetna, United Healthcare, and Medicare. If you have Blue Cross and you're a PPO, we can also work with you. So you can always learn more about using your insurance through our website. There's a checklist. You can even call your plan and figure out what your coverage is. I also offer free consults, 30-minute free consults to kind of get to know you and how I work with clients in similar situations. And we just work on a weekly basis to help you set realistic goals to get you to your long-term goals. So I provide that accountability. I can help provide goal setting, realistic goal setting, and I can give you troubleshooting ideas as well as celebrate successes. So if you like to connect, I would love to hear from you. Thanks.